Welcome to the Zompire Horde podcast. Join us every Monday, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, as your hosts, Vlad the Rad and Michelle of the Dead, discuss horror, true crime, and the macabre. Episodes available on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Join us, won't you? Well, hello!
What is up, everyone?
Great, babe. You look like Chief Woodenhead there for a second because you didn't move.
I have my axe. I should have brought my axe.
I just realized, too, making that joke is actually leads us into tonight's topic for Zompire Podcast, episode number 8, Stephan King.
What? He's been my favorite author since I was a little kid.
I would like to point out that was not planned either. It was an after effect that I realized Stephan King worked on Creepshow, was obviously in one of the scenes. He's the topic tonight. So that was not planned. It certainly just came out that way. So props to me.
Well, you're a genius. You did great.
Thank you.
But we can start off on correcting each other. Do you want to do that?
Sure.
Yes, please.
I'll start being a jerk.
I already know what it's going to be.
Stephan King was in Creepshow, but Chief Woodenhead was in Creepshow 2.
Fair.
Strike
Fair.
one.
Well, so then let me ask this question. Did Stephan King, because he did more than just the acting in that one scene, didn't he co-write it with George Romero?
He did, yeah.
Did he have no hand in Creepshow 2 then?
So, where's my camera? There we go. So, Creepshow was, him and George Romero. The second one, he was loosely involved with it, but I don't know how in depth he went. It seemed like they really just kind of took the premise and they were going to continue doing multiples.
Hey, Melissa. Also.
What's that?
Oh, I was saying hi to our guests that are entering the room.
Oh, shit. I didn't see comments. My
bad.
Yeah. We started running with it. I think it was actually a Creepshow 3 that just didn't really take off or go anywhere. But it's floating out there in the abyss somewhere.
The abyss.
1408 is really underrated. The movie, isn't that the one about the hotel room?
It is, yeah.
Who's in it?
Had John Cusack in it.
Cusack, yeah, that's right.
So I think today what we're going to focus on is Stephan King's books and the ones that were made into movies, and whether we like them or don't like them.
Sick. That's
as far as like how they go from the book to the movie.
Just our opinions, and we'll take opinions from our audience as well. Like I'll start off with like The Shining. Do I need to say any more?
As a movie, I personally liked it. I liked it more as an adult than I did as like a teenager or whatever.
Yeah, me too.
I appreciated it more, but it was because of storyline and the build-up that when you're a kid and you watch movies, it's all about like slapstick comedy, like what's thrown right in front of you. And as you get older and you really become a like whatever they call it, a cinephile or whatever, and you start paying attention to like bits and pieces of the movie, The Shining's fucking awesome. Like, and there's so much more that I appreciated about it now as an adult than I did as a kid.
Right. I think we understand things a lot better as we get older anyway. So, but yeah, the book was awesome also. I don't have all of the books, but up until like I turned 30, I think I had collected them all. My mom would always get them for me for my birthday and stuff like that. Like the brand new ones that would come out. So I have a lot of hardbacks.
Was that a multiple book series?
What?
The Shining.
So no. The Shining was a single book, but then years later he released Dr. Sleep, which was like the sequel to it.
Which we got the movie for, right?
Wasn't that more recently, like 2000 or something?
Yeah. I think it was after 2004 because I was out of high school.
Okay.
But
Jesus
it
Christ.
was. Let's see here.
I was just curious because Michelle, you said The Shining, and then you were like, when you said you didn't have all the books. I thought it was a multi-book series.
No, all of the Stephan King books that exist.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So Dr. Sleep was 2013.
Oh God.
Yeah.
It really
when I saw The Shining for the first time, I saw the TV adaptation first. I didn't see the Jack Nicholson version until like years later. So I had what I think is, I thought the TV one was better, to be honest. But then I saw the Jack Nicholson one and was like, I dig it, I like it, but it's the one thing I will say is they talk about what a sucker for detail Stanley Kubrick is, and everybody wants to argue with if he ruined it or not. But the detail in The Shining that always boggles my mind that he missed and didn't go back and try to correct or anything was when they're going through the maze in the very end, and Jack Nicholson's like huffing and puffing and chasing after him, and there's no fog in his breath. Like, he freezes to death, so you know it's cold. But with Stanley Kubrick being such a sucker for the tiniest details and having to have everything line up and make sense, no fog in his breath just really blows my mind.
You weren't supposed to notice that.
I like how you say Stanley Kubrick makes sense, and then I remember A Clockwork Orange and how little sense that made.
That is a good point. Yeah, that is a good point.
So I think with a lot of the books, there is a lot of parallels and characters that flow in and out of many of the stories. You'll see like Easter eggs from other books. You're like, hey, there's a whole book written about that dude, and he's just like a passerby in this story.
Well, I have a question because I've never seen the movie or read the book. What about Tommyknockers? Melissa Volan says it should have never been a film.
I forgot about Tommyknockers. I didn't see it.
Right.
I read it, but I didn't see it.
Is so bad.
Is it?
It has a great actor in it. What's his name? Melissa, what's his name? The main actor to it. He was in Sons of Anarchy. He's been in a lot of different things. He's a great actor.
Ron Perlman?
No.
Is it the dude with the scars on his cheeks?
No, but he is. It's shoot. But
come on, Google. You're supposed to be the Google guy.
I'm Googling it right now. Yep.
Melissa says, I don't know.
Well, so the book, Jimmy Smits. Jimmy
Yeah.
Smits, he plays Jar. The book was like one of the ones that, there's this big thing with Stephen King fans where they defend everything he does. And unfortunately, I'm not one of those fans. If I think something is garbage, I'll say that it's garbage. And even he has said Tommyknockers was not a good book. He regrets it. He wishes he hadn't written it. That book's not good. It's not good. Like it's very like it has a solid story when you can get to it, but you have to dig so deep into everything he's writing and everything he's trying to say to get to that story. That it just gets
Tommyknockers knocking at your door.
I feel like it has potential, and if someone were to remake it now, the way they do remakes where they don't really tie to the original all that well, they could probably make a good movie out of it using just that simple nursery rhyme.
Yeah, they could do something totally different with it. Let's which one did you like the best? Did you have a few that are your favorites that were books that turned into movies that you think was really, really done well?
I think Stand By Me, which is one of the first ones I remember seeing was Stand By Me.
Me too.
And that, I think they did an amazing job with that. Like from the cast to just everything in it. Like there was just such like you could just feel like the bond. Like when you read like behind the scenes stuff about that movie and read about the boys when they were young being in that movie together and the bond that they formed as friends to film the movie, you can just feel that in the way they filmed it. So that one's always been my favorite. Yeah,
it's really good. God, I almost forgot about that one.
I didn't actually. I had no idea that was a Stephen King book. That's actually kind of like surprises me.
Yeah,
not because of how well it's written or anything like that, or the story, but it's not your typical what I would think of as Stephen King book.
And it's funny, when I was like, one of my best friends passed away, like I don't know, like 2009, I think. Well, 8, I don't know, doesn't matter. And I went to his funeral and everything, and they're like, do you want to say a few words? And so I get up there to like give this speech at my friend's funeral, and the only thing I could think of was Stand By Me. And there's something they say in it that's like, you'll never have friends like the ones you had when you were 12. And that's like the quote that I led off with in this like speech to give it a funeral. And everyone's just like, well, this guy's about to quote Stephen King. This is going to be terrible. But if you know the movie, you understand like that bond of friendship from when you're a kid.
Absolutely. No, and at watching that movie growing up too, it makes you feel like you have those bonds and you're closer to your friends. Like it's definitely like one of those moving, like something like, again, I wouldn't have expected from Stephen King.
Absolutely.
I'd like to bring up my favorite Stephen King story, which is the shirt you're wearing. It.
Yeah, I was gonna say let's talk about that. I mean that's pretty much everybody knows who Stephen King is in any generation because of that.
I would say so, yeah. I'm not sure there's many other that I can think of that are as big as that movie for him.
Right.
So,
well, Carrie was pretty good, but it was done. It was done, and then it was done again years and years later.
I think that the first Carrie was a little bit before its time, and so it got kind of shuffled with the 80s slasher genre, like it kind of buried it. But Carrie, I feel, is one of the more underrated horror movies.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I'll watch it over and over.
Too, but I just feel like there's not a lot of love within the community for it.
And it follows the book really, really closely, and it was done well. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
But yeah, it was the only Stephen King movie I've seen and book that I've read.
Okay.
So what were your guys' opinions, the original or the new one? Which do you prefer?
Ooh, there's good parts to all of it. I'm old, so I always have a soft spot for original things. But there's a lot of cheese involved in both of them, I guess. I don't know, they're different, and I like them both for different reasons. But when I get my Pennywise tattoo, it's going to be Tim Curry. I'm just going to have to go with the first one based on that.
I am a big Tim Curry fan. So
yes, you are.
But I love Bill Skarsgård as well. The way I kind of look at it is a difference between the first Evil Dead and the new Evil Dead.
Okay.
One is definitely more frightening and has a more scary overtone, which is the newer one.
Yes.
I have an appreciation for both. The crazy thing to me is when you see Bill Skarsgård and Tim Curry at the age of filming, when they were both filming it, they look fucking similar. It's insane.
Yeah.
So, and he does the way that Bill Skarsgård does that smile and everything. I just think that the new It is scarier. But I have an appreciation for both just because, and I feel like I'm getting to the age now where there's so much nostalgia for certain movies, like, you know what I mean, that they remake now. Evil Dead, like I remember Evil Dead when I was 14 and renting it and shit, and then the new Evil Dead, I'm like, oh, I fucking love it. And sometimes I want to say I love it more than the old Evil Dead, but that nostalgia attached to the old Evil Dead, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
With the original It, I remember seeing it. I was like in my grandma's, like spending it at my grandma's house and like jumping the channels to catch it because perfect. I knew I wasn't allowed to watch it, but it was on TV, so I just kept going back to see what I could. When the new It came out, I thought it was amazing. Part 1, I loved it. I was like, this tops the original, so like leaps and bounds better than the original. The way that they show Pennywise, his outfit, everything, I thought was better, more in line with the book. And then Part 2 came out, and it was like a complete train wreck. Like, in my mind, like, everything that they built in the first one that I was so stoked about, they just destroyed. And with that, it gave me a different appreciation for the original. Like, I went back and watched the original, and that one is now my favorite of the two. Like, seeing Part 2 of the new series is what made me love the original so much more.
Nice.
And when that aired, it was like a 2-part miniseries on television, wasn't it?
Dude, that whole is so long. The book is like 1 million pages. The first movie is like, what, 2.5 hours? It's like, oh my God. It's just, oh, Jesus Christ. I don't have an attention span. So that's probably why they broke it up into 2 the second time around.
In the new one, when they showed the flashback scenes in Part 2 of the kids, and they did the digital de-aging on them, it looked ridiculous. You have these kids in like an underground bunker thing that they made, and there's no dirt or anything on their faces. They have these like pristine angelic faces, and that's such a small thing, but it just made it look so fake to me.
Yeah.
I want to time out real quick because Halloween Fiend says good evening, and I did that to somebody at Safeway earlier, and they looked at me like I was a weirdo, and I'm like, I'm just doing my best Hitchcock impersonation. So when I saw Halloween Fiend write it out like that, I immediately went back to the Hitchcock vibe I spilled out on someone earlier. So good evening.
Somebody wants to call me dead.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what that was. I was like,
I don't know who that is, but I mean, if you want to call me that, I mean, I am dead inside, so it's not inaccurate.
That's not true.
I know.
You got pink hair. You can't be dead inside.
Yeah, I know. It's just this facade. Firestarter. What about Firestarter?
Firestarter. I love Firestarter.
Yeah, the book is amazing. The movie is amazing.
Have you seen anything about the new movie they're doing?
No.
I've heard that they were doing it, but I didn't know. I haven't heard anything involved with it.
Firestarter?
Yeah.
I hate it when they redo things.
Zac Efron's in it. I think they released a trailer for it. I don't remember if it was a trailer I saw or just clips, but I saw something, and it looked pretty
I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. I did watch the original that had what was it, Drew Barrymore, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed it. I love the concept of that movie and the fact it was like out in the woods and shit. Like it was a really cool theme.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful for the remake too, Melissa. Like I'm hoping, but I don't know. Zac Efron,
I just don't want to ruin it, you know?
Listen, and this has nothing to do with Stephen King, but Zac Efron as Ted Bundy, I was fucking sold the whole way through. Like there wasn't a second I didn't believe he was Ted Bundy in that movie.
Him in Bad Grandpa, he was amazing in Bad Grandpa.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, but yeah, no, I loved Firestarter as a kid. I thought it was like I said, the concept was really cool. It's probably one I should revisit because I haven't watched it in like 25, 30 years probably.
You should do that tonight.
There was another one that came out around that time. I think it was called Cat's Eye.
I remember that. Yeah, vaguely remember that.
Too, isn't it?
I think he did the screenplay for it.
Okay. Because that one was rad because it had that weird little goblin the fucking cat was fighting the whole time.
Yeah, but what was with the relationship between the mother and son? Like that was like...
Well, about the goblin fighting the cat, and you're like, what about this questionable relationship over here?
It was like, I'm all for like tight family commitment and bonds, but like that one was just like
that was
a little bit weird.
Norman and Norma Bates type shit.
Yeah, like when Stephen King decides he wants to go weird on something, he goes all in. He's like, let's make people uncomfortable as F. Let's like How are the kids gonna kill Pennywise? Well, if you've read the book, you know how it goes.
Right.
He goes all in with the weirdness sometimes.
Well, and
Halloween theme, yes, Sleepwalker relation. I'm thinking Sleepwalker, not Cat's Eye. You're right. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh man, I had a lead in after you said something. I just fucking forgot it. But that's okay.
Was it about the kids in getting rid of Pennywise?
No, it was prior to that, but it's okay. I'm sure I'll.
Was it about things being like really out there and messed up? Like, want to talk about Misery?
That's actually exactly what I was gonna say. It was like you're talking about making people uncomfortable.
Oh my god!
Like, speaking of uncomfortable, what about fucking Misery? Oh yeah, Michelle says Pet Cemetery mentions Cujo in the book.
Actually, Melissa said that. I'm Michelle. She's Melissa.
I've been smoking weed. What do you want from me?
I mean, it's okay.
Yes,
Cujo, Pet Cemetery.
But it wasn't mentioned in the movie. That Cujo wasn't mentioned in the movie, just the book.
I think. Oh man, I think in the movie there's a slight reference to it, like a real quick blink and you'll miss it reference about like the town down the road.
Oh, okay.
Have you seen the flow chart?
I have not seen the flow chart.
I will show you the flow chart.
You're gonna give us the flow chart.
I'm in
Hey!
the flow chart.
Get down! Get down! Get down! Get down! Sorry, my cat's being naughty again. Get down!
This is gonna be a pain in the ass, probably, but
Here it is. Oh my!
so this is the flow chart. Give me a movie or a book. Just toss out a title.
Stephen King flowchart.
Pet
Gerald
Cemetery.
King.
Whichever one I find first here is the one I'll go with. Cujo, Buddy, Christine. Pet Cemetery. You got
Nice.
Had Gage's shoe. We follow this. Dun, 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 dun. Atropsis was a bad little doctor in Insomnia. Okay, so there's a connection between Pet Cemetery and Insomnia.
Oh my god, I forgot about Insomnia. Oh, another great one.
Creepy Dead Kid, Gage Creed. And then we follow it down. Both buried at Mount Hope Cemetery. Where does it go? George Dembro. They're buried at the same cemetery. So there's your connection from Pet Cemetery to it.
It's so crazy how there's connections to everything.
Yeah.
Also, fun fact, in the movies, Stephen King almost always plays a cameo.
Right.
Like he's either like a caretaker or like a, creepy guy on the street, or it's
So
pretty
basically,
cool.
He did the funeral service for Gage.
Yeah. That's awesome. Oh, Thinner. That was one of my favorites. I've read it a million times. Did they? I don't even know if they made a movie about it. Did they?
They did. Yeah.
Okay. I thought they might have. I haven't seen it, but I'm hoping it's good because I love the story. It like captivated me so much that I read it so many times. It was just like super creepy to me. Oh, I got goosebumps right now.
That was a good one. I remember really enjoying it. I haven't watched that movie in forever, but
I kind of wanted that thing she put on him, because at one point I was like 230 pounds and I could definitely have gotten thinner.
Eat the pie.
I would have been full.
Melissa, that is, yes, very good advice.
Yep. And now you know why, if you've read the book.
Has Stephen King done anything that's more recent that I wouldn't know it was him? Or
so right now, like we had the Gwendy trilogy with Richard Chismar. So there was Gwendy's Final Task was the most recent one that came out like last month, and then Gwendy's Button Box and Gwendy's Magic Feather.
Melissa says, "Yep, don't give head while driving."
Well, there was the Mercedes trilogy too. So the Mercedes trilogy, they had the TV show for, and then The Outsider, they had the HBO special for that had the guy from the Ozarks in it. And
Bateman?
Yeah, had Bateman in it. But he has a new one coming out that's going to continue the Holly Gibney story, and Holly was a character from The Outsider and from the Mercedes trilogy.
Oh, right on. One movie, I don't know if you guys read the book or not, but one of the movies I did really enjoy is Sometimes They Come Back.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I felt like that's like a super underrated Stephen King, and maybe I'm wrong. You guys are the Stephen King people, so you tell me. But I feel like that's one of the more like underappreciated movies.
It is, and I think Richard King, I don't know if he's in here, but I'm pretty sure he lives near where they filmed it.
Oh, really?
He like near the bridge they had that the final scene in. I love that movie. I remember renting that movie as a kid and like watching it all the time. I think there was 2 or 3 sequels to it that were god awful, but the original was very good.
So it's okay. I missed out on them. Sorry.
Go ahead.
One of the things you just said, though, was the bridge scene. And I think that we would be remiss if we didn't bring up Silver Bullet. Isn't that Stephen King?
It is.
Yes, it is.
Dude, growing up for a werewolf movie, that shit was fucking badass.
Mm-hmm.
And the cool thing with that one, Cycle of the Werewolf, like it was designed in a different way. Like it wasn't his usual writing style. Come here.
Was he writing under Richard Bachman?
He was not. But when he did this one, he did it as like a calendar. So Cycle of the Werewolf, and then when you start going through the story, he did his usual artist, Bernie Weinstein, helped out with it and did all the art. But like you have May, and it follows like the lunar calendar or whatever to really like say like when the werewolf attacks, he did his best to like align it with when full moons would have actually been.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of the top 5 maybe werewolf movies of all time. I love that one growing up.
Yeah, this was one of my favorites too.
It's
And that
awesome.
had Corey Haim in it, didn't it?
It did. And who else?
And
Who was his uncle?
Was it Randy Quaid?
Gary Busey.
Gary Busey. That's right. I forgot about that. Oh yeah, here Melissa just said Gary Busey at his finest.
Damn
First
right.
King movie she ever saw. What was his? Didn't his like little go-kart have a name? The little like the silver bullet, was that it?
I don't think so.
Halloween says it freaked him out as a kid.
It wasn't a go-kart, it was his wheelchair.
Yeah, but he made it into like a fucking like gas-powered fucking off-roading. You remember? That's what he put a motor on it and like made it all gnarly. Yeah, Melissa says it's Silver Bullet. That's obviously it because it's the name of the damn movie.
But also, that's how he killed the werewolf.
True. It just fits too good, you know what I mean?
Oh,
yeah,
man.
Silver Bullet was a dope one.
It was.
Yeah. Gerald's Game was good.
The movie was good. Did you read the book?
Yeah, I read the book first, and then I was like, "Oh my god, they made a movie! I must watch it." I'm like, I was super surprised that how good it was.
How did you? I didn't finish. So I'm gonna go with 2 questions to this. Are there any Stephen King books that you've been like, I can't finish this, I can't do it?
God, it's been a while since I've picked one up, so probably not, because I've always been such an avid reader, and the OCD won't let me just put something down. I do have like 6 books that are like read partially the way through that I'm gonna have to just start over and reread because I've forgotten everything. But
I've done that.
yeah, I don't think no, maybe I haven't picked up the wrong book yet.
So From a View of Gate, that one I couldn't get through. And
Which one?
From a View of Gate.
I don't think I read that one.
That one and Gerald's Game. Gerald's Game just made me really uncomfortable. I felt like it wasn't the story a man should be writing, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, that's probably his or maybe he did it on purpose.
My dog might bark.
But the cool thing about even Gerald's Game, the movie touches on it. Remember the movie showing it, but that one ties to Dolores Claiborne. There's the eclipse during Dolores Claiborne where she knocks on the well, and that same eclipse happens during Gerald's Game.
Yeah, I was trying to remember the one. Yes, I was just trying to remember the name of the one with the lady in the well and Dolores Claiborne. I was like, oh God. Yeah. That's good.
I keep picking up leads in the other movies, and I believe you said the word Buick, right?
Yeah. I know where you're going.
What was Christine? Was she a Buick?
She was a Plymouth Fury.
Plymouth Fury. Gorgeous.
Was it Chrysler? Did I get it wrong?
Oh, I think she was she was a Fury. Pretty sure.
Where's my Google guy? I need a Google guy.
All right, I'm on it.
I can't look it up. So,
that was such a rad movie.
Let's see.
A 1958 Plymouth Fury.
There you go.
A voiceover artist announced she's a 57. looks like 58. Yeah,
like
so of his books, that was one of my favorites, and it's
That's
almost
a
written in a
great
way
one.
that like doesn't seem like Stephen King. The setting is completely different. Like the characters are different. The only like creepy, crazy thing happening instead of being with a person, it's with the car itself. That's an amazing one.
Yeah. Maximum Overdrive.
Yes, Maximum.
Hey,
Love that.
go ahead. You're gonna do what I'm gonna do, so one of us should do it. So you do it.
Giancarlo Esposito, is that his name? The guy from Breaking Bad.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! So the Lou Frigg from Breaking Bad. That was like one of his first movies. Was Maximum Overdrive. He plays the guy in the arcade picking up all the coins and stuff.
I was actually going to point out that Zompire had dust relics of the original goblin head from the truck in one of our boxes.
We did, yes. That was one of my favorite pieces. It's around here somewhere. I think it's on my shelf over here.
Yeah, I have one in my office up on the shelf.
That's awesome. Yeah, that was a fun one.
I love that movie. Wasn't that Emilio Estevez?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's like the one Emilio Estevez autograph that I want so bad.
That would be rad.
I've come close, but like I've never pulled the trigger on it.
It'll happen. Put it out there. Put it out there.
We're hoping. So I was telling Grape Ape, he sent me 2 Child's Play 2 Funko Pops not that long ago that aren't signed, and they announced Alex Vincent and Christine Elise at Crypticon in Seattle, and Fiona Dorff is also going to be there. So we're hoping her dad will be there, and we can get them triple signed. And
that'll be fun.
Back to him, but we're definitely getting dual signed.
Yes.
But we're hoping for the trifecta.
Absolutely.
That's neither here nor there. Back to Stephen King.
Oh, yeah.
Did he do Serpent in the Rainbow?
No.
No. For some reason, I always thought that was something he.
Is that Carpenter?
Who wrote that?
Yeah.
Wasn't The Mist based on one of his stories?
It was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that's one of the most depressing ends to a movie of all.
I know.
Serpent in the Rainbow was Wes Craven.
It was Wes Craven. Okay.
Yeah. So The Mist. Yeah. Did you watch the TV show version of it?
No.
Was that the one that came out in like the mid 90s or early 90s?
The TV show, I don't know if it was Netflix or Hulu or what, but it was later on. It was in the past like 5 to 10 years.
Or was there a movie that came out back then?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The movie came out, and the ending, man, like let's see, 2007 is the movie.
Well, wasn't there a movie back in like the 70s or something like that? It wasn't that a remake? I'm pretty sure that was a remake. The one that came out in 2007, where at the end, the Mist, they're all sitting there and the family just he kills everybody or something, and then like immediately gets saved.
Let's see.
I could be wrong. I very well could be wrong.
See, all I'm seeing is 2007.
Okay.
It was directed by Frank Darabont, who also did The Shawshank Redemption and The Green Mile.
Green Mile.
Who did those books?
Stephen King.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Maybe I should give him a go then.
One of my biggest regrets, a few years back, I took my mom to a special showing of Shawshank Redemption in Mansfield, Ohio, where the prison is, where they filmed the movie. They had the movie showing at this movie theater in Mansfield, where they had the original premiere of the movie. And the cast was there. The director was there. Some dude from Turner Classic Movies was there. And they said, no autographs. Okay. So, of course, I followed the rules, and I didn't show up with, like, a book or my vinyl soundtrack sleeve. And me and my mom were sitting down, like, third row to watch the movie. They're having the Q&A. The Q&A ends, and everybody just rushes the stage with their markers and their shit to get signed.
Oh, dude.
And the actors that are just get up and start signing. And I'm sitting there like, this is the biggest bullshit I've ever experienced. I was so mad. But it wasn't like I can't think of their names now. The two main actors, Morgan Freeman, he wasn't there. His son was, but he wasn't.
Oh, and the other big dude.
Yeah, Tim Robbins.
Oh. I was thinking of the big dude.
Oh, you were thinking Green Mile.
Yeah.
Well, but Tim Robbins is like 7 foot tall. Like you don't realize in these movies because the way they stage everybody, but he's a tall MFer.
What about Golden Years? Melissa says that was an interesting one.
I haven't seen that in so long. I don't even remember it really.
All I just remember is wasn't it Golden Years a TV show? With like
the Golden Girls.
No, with Fred Savage, the Golden Years.
Oh,
Wonder Years.
That's the Wonder Years.
There you go.
Let's see. Golden Years. I remember it.
I do not.
When an aging janitor is accidentally exposed to exotic chemicals in a lab explosion, he undergoes an extraordinary change. It's a process the government will do anything to learn more about, no matter who has to die in the process.
Huh.
It looks like it was a TV show. Number of episodes 7.
Huh.
I never got into it.
Yeah, I remember seeing it, but it didn't stick. Another one that was pretty low budget and doesn't get a lot of credit is The Dark Half. And I thought that was actually a really good book.
Oh, yeah. I remember started reading the Dark Half series when they first came out, and it was like, when's the next one ready? When's the next one?
And I believe, Vlad, who directed The Dark Half?
I don't know. I've never even heard of it.
Think Zompire.
George Romero.
You're damn right.
The only reason I even thought about that was just because of Creepshow, not even that we just did the George Romero box. But
yeah, I forgot that you did that one. So Melissa says, oh wait, no, Martin says Storm of the Century. Yes, Storm of the Century. That was a great one, just a TV, made for TV one. What this is? Okay, see if I'm caught up here.
So, go ahead.
I was gonna ask Michelle, but then I forgot what book I was going for. But did you read the Dark Tower series?
Yes, very, very long time ago. I did.
What do you think? Did you see the movie?
I did not see the movie. I did not. Should I?
No.
Okay. Will it ruin the books for me?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, good. That's always what I'm afraid of.
Yeah, typically, absolutely. It deviates so far from the books, and like with the Dark Tower series, the way that it builds and builds and builds, when you finally finish it and understand like what he was going for with it, it blows your fucking mind. And Vlad, did you read the Dark Tower at all?
No.
When I read the Dark Tower, with my age, like, and the actors and stuff, I always envisioned Roland as Matthew McConaughey. It's like if Matthew McConaughey would be an amazing Roland. He would kill that part, whatever. So they announced the movie, and it's starring Matthew McConaughey, and I was like, sick.
Wow.
So Matthew McConaughey ends up playing the Man in Black, and Idris Elba plays Roland.
As soon as you said the Man in Black, I'm like, Johnny Cash is in it?
Johnny Cash. There were so many elements to the Dark Tower that he touches on, where he talks about like race and racial tensions and things like that. And with starting off that first movie, just jacking up the characters already, it derailed a train before it was even on the tracks. So the movie was not good. They tried to cram so much into it at once instead of building a story, and they didn't even do it in a way that they could pick up the pieces and try to build from it for future movies.
So let me ask you guys a question, since you both have read books and seen movies. On generally speaking, typically speaking, how often does the book really align with the movie? Like, not say word for word or scene by scene, but like sticks true to the storyline, front to back.
I don't know, what, 75%-ish?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, it's pretty common that people are disappointed in Stephen King movies, but I think he packs so much detail into things that it's so hard to get it on the big screen and capture it for the big screen.
Well,
or it would be like 5 hours long.
Right. But when you
Well,
look at Misery or Shawshank Redemption or Green Mile or The Stand, the original Stand miniseries was amazing. And I feel all those were fairly true to the stories. I think the big flops have been The Dark Tower.
well,
I wouldn't call it a flop, but
it's the only one I've read and watched. And after I watched it first and then read the book, and there was so much in the book that was not in the movie.
right.
But I mean, the movie still reads well as a story, but there was just so much more that just wasn't even brought up and talked about. So I always was curious if that's how a lot of his work was, where it was so much in the book that they kind of had to, dice it down.
Yeah, kind of pick and choose.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially like the Ritual of Chud, they really don't do anything with in the original It. Like, and that was a big part of the book. Like, it's just impossible to really nail it all down into a digestible movie.
Right.
They did talk about doing an Amazon extended series for The Dark Tower that I was really excited about because I thought that could really capture it, but it got canceled.
Mm.
Well, I think that about wraps us up on Stephen King.
Yes.
It's possible. We can keep going for hours on this.
I mean, we could, but
Normally we ask people what we're going to do next, but actually next week we have a special guest, Patrick von Smithenstein.
Oh, good.
He's going to come on and he's going to talk about his company Body Scare. He, at one point, I don't know if he still does, we'll have to ask him, owned a record label called Splatterhouse Records that had a lot of like punk and psychobilly and rockabilly bands on it here in the Seattle area. So we're going to talk about that. And he's a huge horror nerd, as we all are. So he's going to come on next week. And then the following week, special announcement tonight, we're going to have a very special guest. And I think Josh is going to probably fall over out of his seat. We're going to have the Zompire podcast.
Wait, you glitched. I didn't catch it.
You totally glitched. What's happening?
Is he doing it on purpose?
Why did it glitch right then? Did you hear?
I don't know.
I thought you did it on purpose. I was like, that's clever.
Because it happened twice.
I don't know. Did anyone else hear me? Maybe I should keep it to the chest. Okay, it's Hate My Name.
Oh, is he coming on?
Yeah, he's going to be our guest. Not next Monday is going to be Patrick von Smithenstein. Monday after that, our guest is Hate My Name. Or Panda or Satan. We probably don't know who's really showing up. We just know someone's going to be here under the mask.
Under the umbrella of Hate My Name. Yeah, you're
right.
Interesting.
I can only assume who's showing up.
Oh man, that'll be exciting.
Yeah, so everyone will want to tune in for that. Tune in next Monday for Patrick von Smithenstein. I am your host, Vlad the Rad, with my co-host, Michelle the Dead, and are always lovely to have, good buddy, Great Babe. I almost wore a Stephen King shirt, too. I should have.
Yeah.
We just got lucky.
You're like, I was wearing that anyway.
Yep.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in again, and until next time.
See you.
Welcome to the Zompire Horde podcast. Join us every Monday, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, as your hosts, Vlad the Rad and Michelle of the Dead, discuss horror, true crime, and the macabre. Episodes available on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Join us, won't you?